live stream for today. If you want to watch my other live streams, you can go to my YouTube, Facebook page, Marianne Hanson Counselling Service, and my personal Facebook page, Marianne Hanson, where I've been talking about, it's the same thing I've done actually on my business page, Cutting Ties with a Toxic Family Member. It's the same live stream, but on my personal page I've just been talking about people's feelings about the UK being broken and what they can do about it. So this is something that comes up for many people around when they have to make a decision to cut ties with a family member or not. So I've been working with individuals and couples for the last 15 years as a counsellor, but also I've been working as a coach for 9 years. Is it 9 years? Since 2017, around confidence and setting boundaries. And this has come up a lot for people when they're in situations where they don't know what to do, whether to cut ties with the person or whether, you know, they can repair the relationship. But when I've looked at the definition of a toxic family member, or when it's impacting on your well-being, it says if a person is abusive, if they're manipulative, or they're not showing any signs of change, maybe you could consider cutting ties with them. So that is like a definition. There's probably other reasons, but those are sometimes the reasons where you may consider cutting ties with someone. So these are some things you have to maybe consider. So I'm not going to make this like a really long live stream today. Anyone that joins on the live stream, feel free to leave your comments as usual. And anyone that's watching on the replay, you can also leave your comments. I will try as much as possible to get back to people. So the first thing is, what have you done? What have you personally tried to repair or to change this dynamic? When in most situations, people use the word toxic a lot. But if you're in a situation with a friend or family member, I'm not talking about a relationship because I think there's different dynamics to that. It's usually two people involved that are causing the conflict. People don't want to talk about that because they want to say, well, this person is toxic, but the relationship might be toxic because of the two things that the people are doing within it. So if you have a situation where a family member is, you're labelling them as the toxic one, the first thing you have to think about is, what have you tried to make this relationship work? What's your input? What's your energy like? Are you provoking this person? Are you someone that is constantly, setting them up or trying to get a reaction out of them? Whoever's joined, thanks for joining. Leave your comments. The next thing to think about is, how likely is it that the situation will change? Before you say how likely is it for the person that they're going to change, is it possible that this situation itself can resolve itself because of the fact that you both make an effort? I've been in situations with family where we've just clashed, and then I've decided to change my energy. I've decided to, instead of me, when I meet with that person and they say, oh, your makeup doesn't look that nice today, or, oh, you look tired, or they'll say something like, oh, you're always switching jobs, or whatever it is, and they know that like it's going to push my buttons. Instead of reacting, well, what are you worried about me switching jobs for? You know, mind your own business. Or, what, you always have to say something bad about my hair? Instead of me reacting, there's people in my family where now I'll just say, it doesn't happen anymore, but where I decided that they would say that, and I'd say, okay, well, you know, thanks for letting me know, but that's what I want to do. And then it's just cut the conversation dead. High shorts world. But then other situations where it's been, I wouldn't use the word toxic when I'm using my examples, but it's just been oil and water. And I've had to make that decision that I just don't want to be around that person, because every time we start off, we're just going for lunch, or we're just going for a walk, or we're just doing something normal. It always ends up in a very negative energy space where we just, I think it's Israel. So sometimes you have to decide, will the situation change? If you're around that, I'm fine, thank you. If you're around the same person all the time and the same thing keeps happening, maybe you have to decide what's going on with this interaction. You don't have to label it as toxic, but in which I live in the UK. So what have you tried? How likely is it for the situation to change? The next thing is, what is the impact that it's having on you? So sitting down and thinking to yourself, what is this doing to me? You know, every time I spend time at this person's family home, every time I spend time going for lunch together with this person, I end up taking 2 days to recover. You know, when you go on holiday with someone and you get back and you need another holiday because it's been that exhausting. You know, for me, being around a person, whether that's a partner, a family member, or a friend, shouldn't be emotionally exhausting. I'm not saying it should always be like roses and fantastic time, but if you're having to like work really hard and you get a headache from it and you just feel exhausted from being around the person, then to me that is not worth it for me. So think about the impact. Is it affecting your mental health because this person is being manipulative, because this person is always using emotional blackmail, this person is quite draining, this person is give, take instead of give. What topic am I discussing? Cutting ties with a toxic family member. So think about the impact it's having on you. If it's affecting your mental health, if it's affecting how you feel, if it's impacting onto other areas of your life, then that's something to consider. Maybe you should cut ties or consider cutting ties. The next thing is, what are your options? The options isn't always, this is the society we live in at the moment, with all this cancel culture, with all of this cut people off, block them off everything, cut them off. The only thing I would say with that is, sometimes when you do that, you don't learn how to negotiate or navigate difficult situations. When you confront things head on sometimes with people, you gain more from it. Because say you block someone because they're not behaving in the right way. One, you're letting them off the hook to a certain degree, because instead of having the conversation with them, you're blocking them. They don't have to think then about what they've done. They know they've been blocked, but you don't have to engage. Sometimes it's better to say, especially when it's how to make a girlfriend. Sometimes it's when it's a family member, it could be they're going to be part of your family probably for the rest of your life, because you can cut someone off, but you're probably going to see them at family gatherings. You're going to have to interact on some level. So my feeling is, think about the different options. Can you be in the same room with the person and be civil? I've been in a situation where, as I've said, the person it was oil and water with, every time we'd get around each other, it would be fine for a little bit, but then they always had to have something to say, and then they just kept going and going, and then sometimes I'd react, and then I'd think, why am I reacting? I learned then to be, when it was my mum's, she was going back to Jamaica, retiring back to Jamaica. There was a big party, it was a family party. You can't get out of like weddings, funerals, parties for family. So I already knew that she was going to be there. This is my sister. So I just prepared myself mentally that I'm going to see her and I'm going to be civil. And the thing about it is, we sat on the same table. We didn't speak at all, but she was sat on the same table. And when we were taking photos, there was photos of my mum and all the sisters and stuff. And it was fine. And you know what? I realised it was actually fine. She was fine. She was enjoying herself. I still care about everyone in my family, but I just knew that, we've had too many situations where it's ended up being negative. So it was fine to just be civil, to just be around someone, and to walk away, and we were still happy. So I think that's one option. You don't always have to do the second option, which is to completely cut contact with the person. If it becomes a point where this person is being abusive to you, that every time they're always getting into arguments with you, they're belittling you in front of people, they're picking on you, provoking you, bullying you, turning the rest of the family against you. There's so many manipulative behaviours that a toxic person can do, and especially if they're held in high regard in the family. I'm going to be making more videos around family dynamics throughout this year, because it's a big topic. So when you have a person who is held in high regard and they're a popular member of the family, they'll use that sometimes to their advantage. So when you're all having a family get together, that's the person that will call you out because they've got a specific target on you. So it would be, oh, you're drinking too much, or what are you sitting there with your face looking so miserable for, or you think you're better than the rest of the family, or why haven't you been to see dad or mum, or this is that person that will always target you. and then everyone else in the family doesn't see what they're doing. So in those situations, and if someone's taken advantage of you by borrowing money from you and not giving it back, by all sorts of things like that, what you then can do is you might decide that you are going to do the contact. You might decide that you're going to say, oh, this isn't going anywhere. This is impacting on me too much. This person isn't going to change. This person is kind of enjoying the fact that they have got this level of power. So yeah, the final thing is to think about it really is nothing is worth your mental health. Nobody, there's lots of times where people don't put themselves first, because I think we're in a community or a country or even a world where putting yourself first, you're labelled as being selfish. Putting yourself first, you're told, why are you neglecting your responsibilities as an employee, as a parent, as a daughter, as a father, as a partner? But you have to put yourself first so that you can be the best for whoever else is around you. So there's nothing wrong with saying that I just can't be around this person right now, or I can be around them, but I have to be around them in the way that I need to be. But my mental health is worth more. Don't let other people dictate to you, oh, you have to go and see that great auntie because they're getting old, or you have to do this for your mum, even though your mum is the person that is criticising you constantly and you always feel sad when you're around them. Do what's right for you, but recognise that, in families, there are consequences. In families, though, there are dynamics which will mean that you might be isolated. You might be told that you're being difficult. You might be called the black sheep of the family, the difficult one, the challenging one. But you have to say to yourself, if you know the reasons you're doing what you're doing, and if it's beneficial to you and for your mental health, then do it anyway, because it's your life. So I hope you found this video useful. These live streams are every Monday. I'm trying to look at different topics. If they're topics that people feel that would be specifically helpful, put them in the comments and I will try my best if it's an area of expertise that I will do. I will also put in these in the description all the places you can find me on social media. You feel free to check out my TikTok, my Instagram and my Facebook pages. And if you want to make a counselling inquiry or referral, then the Facebook page is probably the best one. It's got all my details on there. Thanks everyone for joining and have a fantastic week, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye.